Alright guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is DFree, and for today's video we're going to be talking about One Piece Odyssey. So for today's video we're going to talk about what we know on the game and what we don't know about some of the things that we would like to see. I hope you guys enjoy the video. If you're new to the channel, we'd love to have you stick around for more content on Odyssey. It is not going to be the only game that we play, for the record, but when it does come out, I do plan on doing a good fair bit of content for One Piece Odyssey. So you're going to definitely want to make sure you are the first to know, so click that subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss anything we upload here on the channel. That being said, as you guys see, the current gameplay is pretty awesome, right? So that's Pirate Warriors 4. If you want to go ahead and pick it up, it's been out for probably like a year and a half now. If you want to pick it up, it is on sale currently on some stores because of the spring sale going on. So that's the reason I picked it up. I wanted to jump into One Piece stuff so heavily that I picked it up, and I hadn't played it, obviously. We also picked up Unlimited World Red, which is very, very, very different, and actually a quite old game that kind of got reported and stuff like that. But nonetheless, so if you want to pick those games up, they are on sale. And World Seeker's not on Switch, which is what I played, but I imagine it might be on sale too on like PSN or whatever. So anyways, speaking of World Seeker, I haven't played it, but back to Odyssey. So Odyssey is said to have a 2022 release date, which is obviously when it's going to come out. They didn't give us a literal date, like September 5th or something. They didn't give us that yet. I imagine next time we get a trailer or something, we would get that, right? So we're still kind of waiting on that, but obviously when we do get more, we'll obviously come back and do a video on it. But 2022 release date, it is actually confirmed to be a turn-based RPG game. So in the initial trailer, it kind of left, it was kind of left to interpretation, right? But when you dig a little bit, you find the official website, they tell you flat out it is a turn-based game. So Pirate Warriors, which is what you guys are seeing currently as a backdrop for the audio, is a very different styled game. I don't know what you'd even classify it as, like an arena game, or like what do you want to classify this game as? Let me know for Pirate Warriors. But that is not at all how Odyssey is going to play. You know, Unlimited World Red is a RPG style game and has a lot of RPG elements. So some of those elements are going to be core mechanics in the upcoming game, but some of the mechanics in terms of fighting and combat, obviously it's just not going to play the way that you would probably expect this game to play. And I'm sure that would probably turn a few people off, right? Because I actually asked people in my initial video if they would be interested in that. It seemed like it was maybe 50-50. I might be being generous, but I asked people and they said, hey, yeah, I don't mind, or I do mind it being turn-based. I hate turn-based, or I love turn-based because XYZ. And it was very, very mixed opinion. I feel like you can't really make everybody happy, obviously, with whether it is or isn't. But personally, I do like that a little bit more. Now, if you want to play a turn-based One Piece game, to give you a little bit of context, Romance Dawn, I think, is the most recently released one. Correct me if I'm mistaken, obviously, but I think that is it. But the real question is, what kind of turn-based will it be? Will it just be the character standing there? Will it be some of the new style turn-based games where you can kind of still move around a good bit? Like, I think Dragon Quest, the newer Dragon Quest game, has that type of combat as well. Correct me if I'm mistaken, obviously, on that. But there is some different variations of it to where it's a little bit more interactive, so you're not as just, you know, stationary, like typical, like old-school Final Fantasy, stuff like that, right? So that's that. Now, in terms of the game, we know that the story is these characters get stranded on this island. I'll tell you, one thing I really want to see, and I'm hoping to see, and let me know if you agree with this, is I don't really know if it needs to be completely open world. I don't really know if they'll do that. You know, they might mess around and drop some of these other, like, locations, like Alabasta or whatever, as separate arcs that you can kind of go to, or voyage to, I guess, in One Piece terminology, as part of like a DLC pack. I don't know what their plans are for this game, but nonetheless, whether DLC or in the actual game, which obviously I'd prefer for it to just be there, but just to have it in general, I'd love to see access to other content, because I feel like it would be extremely limiting to have these characters just trapped on this island and that's it. Also, if they're just trapped on the island, how do you, like, and they're obviously inevitably going to put DLC, whether it's like, I don't know, Ichiji, Ninji, like all those guys. I can't really pronounce their names properly, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, it doesn't matter who it is. Maybe it's Judge, somebody else that they just want to make playable. They'll be DLC. So is the story going to be like, oh, they just got trapped on the island? Are we supposed to just not care about this? You know what I'm saying? So, like, there's a whole little backdrop for what they're doing here. And I would love to see the game actually give us access to, even if it's kind of like a watered down version, because I guess, you know, it just really depends on how much development time they've put into the game. They said 3 years, so who knows? But I'd love to see, like, Whole Cake, for example. I think that could be awesome. awesome to see Whole Cake, obviously Wano, and some of the other places like Skypiea. I want to see these locations in the game, and I'm curious to see if they'll actually include them. Again, I know World Seeker has that type of stuff, but that was like the whole motif of that game, if I understand properly. Actually, it might be aptly named, right? Like World Seeker, that's the point of this game, right? So I'd be curious to see that. Now, in terms of the actual like RPG elements of the game, there are a lot of good mechanics that RPG games have, and there are a lot of them that are kind of underwhelming or not great or bad, or whatever the case is. I'm really curious about how the mechanics would be for this game. If they're going to have some sort of like friendship system, are they going to do the typical progression boards they put? They always call it something different in these games, but you know, you have the little boards, like Pirate Warriors has it too. We have little boards where you click on the node, you go ahead and proceed, and you get to power up your characters further, etc., etc. These are always in these style games, right? So I'm curious to see if they have that, how they're going to do that. I imagine that they would. Will there be some sort of affiliation bonuses, like, oh, obviously you're going to mainly be playing with the Straw Hat Pirates, but what if like they add in more characters? Is there going to be an affiliation bonus to that, to where your characters do that? Or are there going to be special combination cutscenes and moves like that? Like, what is really going to happen in terms of the gameplay and actual RPG elements of the game? I'm really curious about that. Are they going to add in some of the newer features and the better features that these RPG games typically have, is the question that I'm going to kind of have. Now, I want to kind of close up on this. So we know that the game is turn-based. We know that the game takes place on this island. We know it's got the RPG elements, like some platforming and, you know, terrain hopping, things like that. It's got all of that, right? So if you didn't see the trailer, you kind of have to piece it together in your head and kind of see what they're trying to do, because obviously it's clipped and manipulated a certain way. But there are sometimes where they just flat out show you Luffy sticking out his arm, stretching all the way across to grab and slingshot himself somewhere, you know, onto this platform or whatever. That's just the game, and it's pretty cool to see that. But in terms of what they have going on, and I want to close on this, like I said, do you guys think that that is all that there is to this game? Do you think there's going to be any sort of like alternate game modes, anything like that, where you can play the game, maybe experience the game from a different form? Like, just an example. This doesn't have to be it, and it probably wouldn't even be coded this way, but like, or programmed to have this type of mode in it. Say like a versus mode, right? Because we don't really even know if it's gonna have like co-op or versus. It almost seems like it's just a one-player game, by the way. But like, say a versus mode, right, where you can maybe control the characters in a more free way throughout the entirety of the combat, not just the actual movement, but the actual combat. But again, that also takes us back to the initial point that I had of, oh, well, is this game going to play like some of the newer turn-based games where you can still kind of move around, or what? So I want to let you guys just kind of think about that and what you guys think they'll kind of do in terms of new game modes and stuff, because obviously I'm getting way ahead of ourselves, and that's all we really can do. Like, if I want to talk about Odyssey, I kind of have to speculate a bit. That's just the reality of it, because we don't really have information. But I'm curious, I'm excited, I'm hopeful. And I really do think that they have something here. The game looks pretty cool. I just really, my big thing is, it was the first thing I mentioned, I really want to see it not just be relegated to this island, because I feel like that would be a crime. It would actually be a crime. Like, I don't think they have to be able to take us every single spot and let us do completely anything we want every spot. I don't know about all that, but I would love to just still be able to experience these other locations, dude. Maybe like side quests or boss quests, like a boss fight versus freaking Big Mom or something on Whole Cake, you know, maybe like a RPG styled like running simulator where you have to kind of run away from Big Mom while she's chasing them on their way out of Whole Cake Island, and, you know, out of that arc, basically. You know what I'm talking about. So like things like that I think could be really fun with the characters in One Piece, because the game could be fun because the characters we have are really fun and lovable, right? So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up there, guys. If this is your first time here on the channel, we kind of just, I'm going to tell you all that was off the cusp. No scripting or anything. One shot. There were some more things I wanted to say, but I feel like I could start rambling really soon if I haven't already. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap there. But yeah, it was definitely fun to just kind of do this. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see all of you guys next time.